Enjoy the show the Van Wezel way. Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Curtain Call Conversations, a Van Wezel podcast. And I am Muffy, the Director of Public Relations, and I am thrilled to be joined by a couple of our technical theater campers. I have Clover and Dani with me. How are you guys today?
Good.
Very good, yeah.
Awesome. So why don't we talk a little bit about this summer camp? You're getting to go behind the scenes at the Van Wezel and a bunch of other theaters in town. So what has this experience been like? Clover, do you want to start?
Yeah, it's just been very, eye-opening. You know, you just kind of, it really, puts into perspective how much goes on behind the scenes and all the work that's put into it. And it's just really interesting to get to learn about all of that and to be able to go into all, the nooks and crannies of the Van Wezel and learn about, what every room is for. It's just been really, really cool.
Great. Dani, anything to add?
It's just been really great, especially coming from a school that doesn't have a strong technical theater program.
Yeah.
Being able to see this huge theater and all the things that go on backstage and learning all those things.
Yeah, that's great. What's your favorite part of the camp?
I don't know. I mean, I really, really enjoyed everything. If I had to pick a day that I like the most, I think I would probably do the prosthetics one, just because I love that kind of stuff. I just think it's really cool. But everything, honestly, was just so fun. I really liked getting to learn more about lighting and stuff, and getting to go to all the different theaters too, and just see how different they are and how people use their resources and just make these amazing things out of what they have is really, really cool.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about the prosthetics? What did you guys get to do? How did that work for everything?
We got to make a black eye at first. That was really cool. And then we got to use gelatin and latex, liquid latex to make a burn. Mm-hmm. And that was really, the gelatin smelled horrible, but it came out really cool, and it was a really fun thing to get to learn how to do. And that's very useful for future Halloween endeavors.
There you go. Yeah. Dani, what about you? What has been your favorite part?
I think probably my favorite day was hair and makeup day, mm-hmm. because just doing stage makeup and then doing old age makeup was very fun.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten to wear a real good quality wig and put my hair in a wig cap and all that, and that was very fun to do, and getting to see all the different looks and stuff. But I'd say definitely getting to meet so many people that are in the union that just know so much, where you can just ask anything and they know it all. It's very, very fun.
Yeah, it's really, really fascinating to just see how much these people know about their specific fields. It's just, it's how does someone's brain store that much information?
So speaking of that, what have you learned this week, and how are you storing all of that information? What are you taking away from this camp?
I just kind of mainly learned the more specific things about how things work, especially with sound and lighting. So we got to see one of the people use a soundboard and what all the different things do and just how to work that in general. And we got to take apart a spotlight and just look at all its little bits and pieces. So just things like that, you know.
Well, after going through the soundboard, you're probably more equipped to edit this podcast than I am. Dani, what about you? What's been some of the stuff you've been learning?
I mean, definitely more with the soundboard and the effects and also the lights, but just generally what goes on, how all the different parts go together, what people do what, how many people are working on the same project in the back, and just learning general more information about lighting, sound, the fly system, all that.
So is there an area this week or last week that you've been throughout the camp that you have found really fascinating and you want to learn more about, or maybe go into a future career with?
The day that we did the soundboard, that was very, very fun. And especially at our school, no one really knows how to use the soundboard. So learning how all the different effects work and how they're programmed, and also the person that we had here with the soundboard just knew a lot.
Yeah.
So that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. It's very nice to be equipped with that knowledge. We got a little packet to go with it that we can take and we can put in the tech booth just, for future people that are trying to figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of work throughout the Van Wezel and learning all the different pieces that go into making this theater work, but it sounds like you've also been on some field trips to some of the other theaters in town. What are some of the other places you've been to, and what have you learned?
We went to Oslo. Today we went to Dingbat and West Coast Black Theater Troupe. That was yesterday. And they're all so different, and it's so interesting. Oslo had this like giant workshop with all of their props, and we got to see like them building a set in action and like a future set for like a show that they were doing in a month, and they just had so much stuff, and it was all so cool. And we had a lot of people come in and just talk about like the process of making props and backdrops and just general set pieces, and that was just really, really interesting because that's something I really like to do, and getting to see it done professionally is really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, definitely all the theaters we've been to have been very different. So it's really interesting to see like the Oslo, which is like a huge theater that has a huge budget and does a bunch of different things, like with this huge warehouse of sets and stuff, compared to like Dingbat Theater, which is a smaller theater, and seeing the kinds of things that they do in that space. It's been really nice.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring up the Oslo because they're building their own shows and their own sets,
Yeah.
which is very different from what we do here at the Van Wezel, where we're bringing in shows that are already established. So I'm so glad that you're getting to experience all the different kinds of art and theater that's happening here in Sarasota. So what do you think this camp has done to help you prepare for a future career in the theater, whether it's behind the scenes, in front of the scenes?
Well, we got to learn a lot about all the different career options that there are in the Van Wezel or in just theater in general. We had a bunch of different people with all different jobs come in and tell us about how they got there, what their daily work routine looks like, and it's very helpful. It like gives you a lot of insight as to like what you need to do and what you need to learn to get into a field like that if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, definitely what Clover said, and also getting to meet like actual people who are in the field and having that as like a network, like knowing that that's someone that you can reach out to and ask about different volunteer opportunities and that sort of thing is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and speaking of networking, how has it been with your other campers this summer, getting to know them? I know you guys come from different schools. What's it like kind of getting to branch out your network?
Yeah, I've made some really great friends here, and so many of the campers here had a lot more of a developed theater department
Yeah.
than we have, and it's very like interesting to see how much other schools care about their arts department. And it's nice because you can reach out to them and like ask them things because they have more than we do. So I think if we ever need help with certain things, that's definitely like a really great resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And also because they have a bunch of different like skill sets. Like one of the campers that we had here is really interested in costume design, and she's like a great artist. So like in the future, if we have anyone that needs to design costumes, we can always like call her and whatever and have her help.
Yeah.
So what is one thing you would tell someone who's considering signing up for next year's camp?
It's definitely very worth it if this is something that you're into, because you just get to learn. You get to go so in depth about everything, and it's never been like boring or just uninteresting. It's always just some like kind of fascinating like information, even if it's something that like you're not that particularly interested in. It's still like you get to learn so much more about it and all of the little cool things about it. So yeah.
Yeah, do it for sure.
I like it.
Yeah, it's just a great experience, and having this like under our belts and having all that information is going to help a lot in the future.
So if our wonderful education department with Justin and Mia are planning next year's camp, is there something that you think was really, really great this year they should do again next year?
Yeah, honestly just all of the activities that they did with us, because we just got to, kind of play around with everything. We had people in all different departments come in and let us like use the fly system, for example, or use the spotlights and play around with the soundboard. Just having that like hands-on, like connection with certain things, it's very, very helpful in like learning how everything works.
And is there something this year that you didn't get to do that you might want to see in a future camp?
We did some things with the fly systems, but I think it would have been cool if we did more because especially since the Van Wezel has such a complex fly system with so many different flies, it's definitely very cool to see it in action. So.
Yeah, I love that. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners before we move on to a little fun activity?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we always like to keep it fun here on our curtain call conversations. So we're going to do a fast 5 where I'm going to ask you 5 questions. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right, Clover, we'll start with you.
Oh, this is scary.
I promise it's fun. You'll be great. So, what's your favorite Broadway show?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. All right. Classic. What is one thing you learned this week that you think everybody else should know about the Van Wezel?
Lighting.
All right. What is a show you haven't seen yet but you're dying to see?
Ride the Cyclone, I think.
Okay. That is not what I was expecting, but I love it. Who is a performer you would love to see us have at the Van Wezel?
I don't know. I actually don't know the names of that many performers. I'm a fake fan. I have not watched nearly enough musicals.
It doesn't have to be musical. It can be comedy. It can be music.
Comedy, Sal Vulcano.
Okay.
Come on down. I would love to see that.
All right. And number 5, what is one thing you are hoping to do in the future that this camp has helped you with?
Hair and makeup.
Nice. All right, you feeling ready, Dani?
Yep.
All right. What is a show or production you would love to work on?
Ooh, I would love to work on Heathers. Like, that'd be very fun.
And that's coming back to Broadway real soon.
Oh, yeah, it is.
All right. Who is a musical guest you would like to see perform at the Van Wezel?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like I'd love to see like something rock music at the Van Wezel, especially like I think the venue would be awesome for that.
We do get some good rock shows. You should come check one out. All right. What is one thing you learned this week at the camp that you think everyone should know?
Probably just like general collaboration like with other professionals and just being able to like get to know people fast and have them help you.
All right. And your favorite Broadway show?
Probably Heathers.
Okay, and that's why you want to work on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finally, what's one nickname you've heard for this building?
Purple Cow.
Yes, I was going to say, I knew we couldn't get through weeks of camp without Justin bringing up the Purple Cow.
Violet.
Yes, Violet, our mascot. All right, well, Clover, Dani, thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Curtain Call Conversations. We will be back with another episode in 2 weeks. Be sure you subscribe to the podcast and make sure you're following us on our socials so you can hear all of the latest news from the Van Wezel. Check out our shows, join our e-club, and we'll be back real soon. Thanks.